and gave recognition on a routine basis to new people coming in, and so that we would have a sense of understanding who we're working with, even though it might not be at the same location. Also, to give recognitions to some really wonderful things that are happening. And I can see over time that this will be a great venue to share positives and good things that people are doing. To we had the first tee in only the city of Miami way back in the spring as a conversation throughout the summer. When we get to August, and we've got two sites, the Mars site, and here we are 2 weeks.
Is there here?
Yeah. Francine, hold on a second. I saw it. Hey, Francine. Francine. Hi. I don't think it's this is going to work. We're just having some other technology stuff, but we'll make sure that you're on the next one.
Let me talk to her.
Here's Valerie. Hold on a second.
Hey, how are you?
We're disconnecting our meeting.
You
cannot talk to her. Give me the phone.
Just I'll call you.
Give me the phone. Now.
We just moved.
Give me the phone.
Internet isn't working very well.
You're stopping.
So
Give me
the
phone.
Right.
You're stopping all the calls. Valerie, give me the phone.
No problem. Perfect. Bye bye.
Why did you just do that? You just helped 9 people up.
What do you mean?
That phone took the bandwidth.
Challenged, as I've been told, at my home, and I'm taking steps simply today about learning more about how this process works. We're going to find out that some of the computers we're using love this system and some do not. There's Michael. Hello, Michael's online. And so part of the organizational updates is to make sure that we can share the things that are happening, but also make sure that the kinds of things that we're doing each site will be moving us in a common direction with best practice. I can share with you today that Gary and I had an outstanding meeting in the city of Pinecrest. They call themselves the Village of Pinecrest, with the mayor, Ms. Lerner, 5 principals from that locale close to where we're going to open the 4th site. There were other interested parties in the room, about 15 people with an agenda of their own business. But their business is about having wonderful for-profit business, nonprofit business going on in their city. They talk about education as a high-ranking agenda and priority item. And we were welcomed, and I don't mean we were heard, we were welcomed into the conversation about what we were bringing to their community. They've disseminated and will continue to disseminate through the schools thousands of our pieces of literature, some attached to report cards telling parents we're here to do business in early November. And so it's a great marketing coup, the work that Valerie and Gary have been working on for several weeks with other people to put out there through Parks and Recreation and through the schools. And this meeting was a combination of those people so that we could then be welcomed into the community to do business in Pinecrest at the Sunnyland site. So it's a very exciting day, lots of positives, and we shared our story both in word and by video, and we had a captive audience who welcomed us to their community. That's the kind of thing we want to see as we move forward with a 4th and a 5th and a 6th and further sites, that we template this portion of how we welcome ourselves into a community as we get ready to open a site and find ways to market ourselves very effectively. So in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a great need for what we think are more learning coaches as the responses for the advertisements have gone out, and we now start capturing that need from parents. Gary, you might want to say some things about your feelings about the meeting today. Or you may not.
Thank you, George. You should know better than to give me a microphone. um, just to build on what George said, what we're figuring out is how to introduce ourselves through a site. And what we learned from today's meeting that is probably true in all sites is there are already government officials in place or other organizations that focus on education. And so one of the first things we want to do is to just get on that agenda. And so that could be, the Kendall Association of whatever they're called, or it could be the PTAs of an individual, school or schools. And the benefit of that is you're creating allies for GRASP. And so today, we basically were able to get 15 or 20 people were in this meeting, kind of excited about what we're doing. And the alternative would be for us just to come in and open a site without kind of including these kinds of people in our process. And any one of them could probably just try to stop us, by saying, wait, who are these guys? Or they didn't talk to us. So the mayor was kind enough to say that she'd like to attend a ribbon cutting. We were not planning on having a ribbon cutting, but now we will. Maybe we'll get some local press. And she also said that we'll be your conduit to the schools, which is great for our purposes. So we'd like to be able to use what happened today as a model for other sites. And just to wrap up on that, we also had the opportunity to work with the person who runs the after school programs for the Miami-Dade County school system. And we asked him to make 6 phone calls for us to 3 principals around the Alper site and 3 principals around the First Tee site. And I think he's done most or all of them, which it will result in us getting to meet with the principals. And another thing we've learned is you have to have the principals, buy-in, as you would imagine, because they're the ones who can control our access to the parents. And in the case of Pinecrest, they actually agreed to staple 8,500 of our little brochures to progress reports in 2 weeks. So here's Valerie.
I just wanted to read to you an email that I got from a Pinecrest mom who is a friend from our community. Hi, Valerie. I heard Gary gave a great presentation in Pinecrest today. My PTA president was quite impressed. We have our annual carnival coming up, and there are sponsorship and silent auction opportunities available if you're interested. Let me know if this is something GRASP would like to participate in. So I know this is Pinecrest Elementary, and here is a very active PTA mom who already got word from her president that we were visiting with the education committee today. So that's how word gets around, and we will indeed give away 2 free sessions in the silent auction with GRASP to get these parents acquainted with the program.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I didn't know about that email, but also Mitch was kind enough to get us a really good deal on 1,000 pencils, and that came up during today's meeting because Pinecrest has this big trick or treat, event where they have like, several thousand kids, and everyone, you have booths and everybody hands out chocolate. And we said today, look, we know they're going to get plenty of chocolate, but one of the things about GRASP is we're interested in nutrition.
They
So we're
can't
gonna.
hear us.
You can't hear us. Okay, but that's because you're.
Yeah, the audio's kind of off. As far as the pencils,
could he-
Could you hear us, guys?
We're getting bits and pieces. There's parts that came through super clear, and then it slowed down and got
Yeah.
spotty.
All right. Let me
So
just
we
finish.
got.
Let me just finish what I was going to say
I
about.
can't speak for everyone, but on this end, we got good.
Yeah, that's because we just are putting in new wireless at home, and this is our responsibility. Won't happen next time. We'll have it fixed.
We just moved today.
Cool.
That's why.
I'm going to kind of wrap up this particular point and say that on the 31st, that's when the track and treat from 5 to 7 o'clock. They expect thousands of families to come. Kids will trick or treat on a track, on a park, and it will be there to disseminate information. And it will be the next big advertisement for GRASP in the Sunnyland site, because we expect within a week's time that we will be open for business and starting to really get things moving. So we're very excited about that. And the meeting today really solidified some of those friendships that will help us make some things happen and find some good successes, we think, in the near future. The third item that you can see listed on the agenda is going to be pretty important for all of us going forward. This ought to be the conduit for sharing dates, times, places for professional development, not necessarily professional development at this time, but the sharing of information or the disseminating of particular things and procedural changes that everybody can be up on. I know that Sophie's working on a number of things that have either gone out by email, but this would give rise to a conversation about procedures or changes so that everybody can be on the same page. The fourth point is about site updates, and maybe we can take a couple of minutes right now. More than anything else, it would be listen and learns. Where are you at with successes? What might be, this is a good way to share out if someone's already met that challenge. And the last one is really kind of a point of results. We can see ourselves on a 2-week cycle between these meetings of gathering information about how many graspers are at each site, what are the contact hours by learning coaches, and we can start to plot a graph and watch ourselves grow from 30 students to 40 students to 50 students and look at the ratio of personnel and kind of have an accountability check at the same time. And that's my joy to work with Sophie on some of that information that will be crossing her desk as information is gleaned from each of the sites, both through payroll and hours and through payments for young people. So those are the essence. It may not be our fixed agenda if you've got other things you think are more worthy to be on it, but this is a starting point. We're challenged with some technology today. It's a starting point. And so what we want to do is improve over time, both with meaningful agenda items and at the same time an opportunity for us to share information with each other. Is Valerie, if you're on, is there anyone else who want to talk specifically about updates from MAR?
I'll do it.
Okay, sounds like Sarah's going to go for it.
So at MAR, as of now, everything is going really well. We have about 15 to 16 children. They come in every day. There are some kids that do come in Monday through Friday. We're learning a lot about their strengths and weaknesses and building on those weaknesses as each day goes by. We have them in a set routine where when they come in, they sit down, they find their GRASP table, and then they get out their planner or agenda, and then they also take out our own agenda that we have for them, what's called a mission planner. And then they write down what they have to do, and they do each thing one at a time. And then once they get it done, we can celebrate and do other fun things that they like to do, such as building with robots. They like to build with Legos, play games. We also have brain busters, which are two different scenarios which they have to figure out, and it's kind of like an out of the box thinking question, and the kids love it. They love trying to figure it out. And what else? We got some good feedback today from Neil, who's the head of the after school program, and he said that we're the talk of the whole JCC, that GRASP is amazing, and that they love us, and that they're trying to send more kids to us. And even the kids are talking about wanting to be learning coaches. I want to help GRASP. I want to do this. I want to do that. So it's just a lot of positive feedback from the MAR.
Well, that's outstanding information. At Alpert, we've got about 6 paying customers right now, 6 graspers. Our biggest 2 days are Tuesday and Thursday. We've got one grasper who is a one-to-one and working with Debbie. And we have the range from kindergarten to 10th grade, which is an interesting range. I would follow up on what Gary said. Our good friend Vic Ferranti with the school system with aftercare did make those calls. I spoke to 3 schools this afternoon, and I have one meeting set for Monday with one of our local principals. Principals are tied up. Principals are busy. But what we can do is find out who else is available at those sites. Andre and Mitch and I talked about that last week, coming up with some common strategies to try to make sure we can get to the right people. And sometimes you perceive it to be the person in charge, and that in fact may not be the case. And so we'll start wherever we can and be pragmatic about it, but we hope to spread some of the upper side. Andre, you want to talk about first tee?
So at the first tee, currently we have 5 graspers, and this is a great meeting place for parents and new registrants. They love seeing the center, they love experiencing it, and knowing that that this is pretty much it's pretty much a hub for new registrants. We have 2 parents who are interested in signing their kids up for GRASP. One student who is currently attending GRASP sessions told me that her friend, she's been going here now for she's been attending GRASP sessions now for over a month, and she's been telling her friends, and one of them thinks that this could be a good fit for her. So I gave her one of our pamphlets, and for her to give to her friend, to give to her parents, and I'll follow up with her the next time she's here to see about bringing adding one more to the fold, so to speak. And overall, it's working great. We've administered Smallsies to 4 students, and have, for those of you that don't know, the Smallsie is a school motivation and learning strategies inventory. And from the results from that, we use, as learning coaches, over the summer, we all had training in SAS, and those skills correlate directly from the results of the SAS. And we see that a lot of, in sharing the results with both the parents and the students, they find that it's true to the student. They own up to it, in which case I've already done it. I've already shared the results with for 4 of the students, and they own up to it. It's something that they see as accurate, and that they can. What I make them learn to grow from there. Some students are stronger than others, some not so, but it's never a comparison amongst other students. It's just a means of comparison. Again, a baseline for them to jump off of and excel.
Give everybody an opportunity, if you've got questions or some responses about the things that are being said tonight. This is the first.
You're on speaker.
Hello, everybody. I'm trying something a little bit different. I called Sarah on her phone, and I assume that you can all hear me, but I wanted to just add 2 things about the first tee. We had a very good meeting with the Children's Trust, which is the largest funder of children's programs in Miami, They're a government agency. They have a 3-year grant writing cycle, meaning that they open up for potential programs every 3 years. So we're right in the middle of that. We're about a year and a half into it. So they were not open to grant applications. However, our meeting went so well that they asked us to prepare a mini proposal to fund 60 kids at the first tee, including research, transportation, and the like. So I submitted a proposal to them yesterday to fund a 6-month trial for 60 kids age K through 8 from 3 different schools at the first tee. The likelihood of this happening is 20%, just because it's not something they typically do. However, a 1-hour meeting actually went into 2 full hours, and they were, very interested in what we're doing at Grass, and so much so that there's even a possibility that Grass could be a very significant part of their funding cycle a year and a half from now in many sites. The second thing I want to do to just share with all of you is we have a new phone number, and so if you all can just get your pens out, and I'll explain to you the why. We have a new phone number, which is 786-763-3780. Again, that's 786-763-3780. And this is a Google Voice system, which allows for many telephones to ring at the same time. So whenever someone calls the 786 number, my phone will ring, Valerie's will ring, Sophie's will ring, and we had someone else that they'll ring. That way, one of us can always answer the calls. Sarah, let me make sure. Do you get the impression people can hear me? All right, then I'll just stop and I'll turn it back over to George. Motherfucker. This just drives me nuts. It just does.
So you know exactly why it's not working.
And that, can it just bother me?
No, can't.
I see. Kill it.